Hiya guys, and welcome back to Ades Workshop on this windy day in Pembrokeshire. I dare say you'll be able to hear the wind howling and the windows rattling and all the rest through the course of this video. So anyway, good news is the tap has arrived, so let's get straight on, tap the hole and give this thing a try out. So the good news, my 2.5mm tap has arrived. I ordered it on the Friday and it actually turned up, I think it was Friday, mid-morning, and it turned up on the Saturday. So, absolutely brilliant service. And I'll tell you where I got it from. I mean, the cost of the tap was £3. I think total with post and carriage, you come to £7, £7.20. Anyway, I got it from this firm, Tracy Tools. All sorts of taps, dies, well, as you can see here, taps, dies, reamers, drills, all that, all at reasonable prices. It's not a Chinese one, it's a Presto tap, so it's a good quality British-made tap. I've got various sets of Presto taps in metric, and yeah, I mean they're proper industrial use taps, not hobbyist sort of Chinese stuff. Yeah, www.tracytools.com. I mean, brilliant service. They're from Torquay in Devon. I suppose Torquay in Devon, as the crow flies, is only about 100 miles from where I live, but by road to drive it, probably about from here, probably 4 hours at least, maybe 5-hour drive from here. Anyway, the issue I have is it's a first tap, or let's call it a taper tap, and with it being such a small tap, the taper is actually about 8mm long. Well, with my hole being 8mm deep, I would never get into the parallel part of the tap to be able to, tap it correctly. On the same note, even if I drilled it deep enough, say 15mm deep, would I want to tap along the full length of this tap? The risk of breaking it might be very iffy. So the plan I've got, and I'll bring you over to the lathe. So the plan I've got, I've set it back up, is to drill it with the 2.1 drill, the tapping drill. I think officially, I mean there's two, this is an alternative, but 2.05 is the actual recommended tapping drill. But again, an alternate one that I've seen in various specs is 2.1mm. I'd sooner put a 2.1 in and take a bit of load off that small tap, not being used to tapping small taps. I can remember as an apprentice, 8's BS, was it 8's BSW or 3/16 BSW? I think it was 8's BSW. Well, I snapped more of those taps than anything else, because they were very coarse thread for its diameter, and oh my god, until that was a good apprentice test. If you could give them a job with 38th Whitworth tapped holes, 10mm deep in something fairly tough, and see how many taps they get through. Anyway, that's another story. So again, a bit of a challenge, 2.1 drill, and I'm going to drill right through this block, 23mm deep, so that's over 10 times the diameter in depth. And then what I'm going to do is drill the back out, let's say 2.6mm, up to within about 6mm of the face. I mean, 6mm thread's more than enough, and again, that's going to take a bit of load off the tap. So yeah, I'm already 8mm deep. In fact, I've already gone another 4, so I'm halfway there. I'm running at 1450, and I'm just going to gently, I'll probably do it in 0.5mm steps between retracting and watching my DRO. I don't seem to be getting any swarf out at the moment. Yeah, I'm going to be very gentle with this. Well, I'm at 20mm deep now, and I'm twitching like a rabbit's nose here. Well, we survived that, and the drill's in one piece. So I'm going to flick it round now and open the back of the hole up. 2.6mm, let's say. Maybe 2.7, it wouldn't hurt. In fact, I'll measure what the backing hole is in the existing tools and do it the same. And bring it through to within about 5-6 mil of the front face. Yes, I'm twitching again. Oh no, I wouldn't want to break the tap off in here. So I think I may be deep enough with the tap. I'm just going to try the screw in there. Well, yeah, I think we're there. Screw seems fine. Let's just have a quick look at the tip. Ooh. Yes, I think we're where we need to be, and I haven't broken the tap. Whew. Bit tricky. Well, that puts us, other than a bit of sorting out, that's thrown up a little burr on top there. Oilstone will take care of that. Touch more. Yep. I think I'm in a position where I need to set it up and give it a whirl. So we'll got a piece of 3/4 brass up in the collet. So just going to face it off. Touch more. Got a pre-existing hole in it. I don't know what that was from. Oh, that's probably where I made the little keep washer that's on the underside of the bearing. Whoop. Nearly crashed into my collet nut then. That would have been entertaining, is the word. Okay, so set the drills. Right, we're going to put an M8 inside here, which calls for a 6.8 drill. Which I have here. Let's have a quick look on my handle. I put 10mm of thread. So if I go there, perhaps 13mm deep. So I'll touch on the face. Let's get parallel, right, 13 turns from there. 1, 2. I can't put the winding handle up the back because I got a drawbar in on my collet chuck. But as it happens, I can actually wind this by hand. I think we're getting into the depth now. So that was the taper tap. So I think we'll go in now with a second unplug, and then we'll check the handle goes in and doesn't bottom out before it closes on its shoulder. Set that piece of brass up on the 10mm handle, on the handle it's going to live on. It's way too long at the moment. I just locked it off. I'm going to part it off. I dropped it back in the chuck, so it is further back than it's going to have to be when it's machined. But I didn't want it sticking out a long way and then trying to part it off, you know, stuck out in its operator position, so to speak, for the ball turning part of it. So yeah, I'll just part this off rather than turn it off, because a little piece of brass like that might be handy. There you go. Yeah, that'll be, well, you never know, do you? Piece of brass. Just pulled it out in the chuck now. I don't know. Let's have a look. Yeah, probably 25mm stuck out before I get to the brass. Obviously I haven't experienced this ball turner before, so that might be enough, it might be too much, but you got to start somewhere. So just chew up the OD because was throwing a little, and I faced the end off and I've got a blank. Now I know it is too long at the moment, but I know I'm going to have a parallel bit at the end, so yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, this is the first time I've used this ball turner, or will be, and well, maybe the last, but it might work, it might not, I don't know. There's only one way to find out, I suppose, and that's coming next. So, welcome to the cheese board, assembly area. Okay, so we need to start putting this together. Now I'm going to do this as a dry fit, no lubrication, oil, anything like that, because it's purely a trial run. But it will be, I've got to take it all apart again at a later date, and there may be more work to do. So first thing we need to do is fit the base plate onto here. Now we're going to need to fit the washer on the underside before we start. If I line up the hole there, the clearance hole that we've got there, that's a starting point. So if I take my little washers with the flats on, and I can just get the 3 screws started. Here we go. We've got torrential rain on occasion, and horrendous wind outside today. It doesn't know what it's going to do. It's one of those Pembrokeshire days when you get all 4 seasons in a day. It can be really cold and blowing and raining and tipping down, and then it can all drop and then become sunny, and you just don't know what you're doing with it. So yeah, it's a Pembrokeshire weather day. It's sort of the only way to tell what the weather's going to do in Pembrokeshire is look out the window. All the weather forecasts and what have you, they give you a rough idea, but it can be different from 1 hour to the next. I suppose we're fairly coastal. I'm only how far from the water? Probably about 4 miles from the sea, if that. So that's the base screwed on with the washer underneath. Now, having done this before, the screw, I can't get it in and out of this hole, the assembly screw, with this plate on, so I just need to put it in there beforehand. I can do it up and undo it, but I can't get it in and out of the hole once I put the lid on. So next step, in fact I will put just that'll do, just a little oil on there just to be friendly to it, because it right, okay. So right, okay, bit fiddly, but it goes in. So now I'm going to flick it upside down and fit the retaining screw through the little brass washer that holds the top on. Now that's turning. So I've got a temporary 8mm bolt here, because obviously the handle is in the chuck of the lathe with a piece of brass on the end of it, so that's just a temporary bolt there. So I can just got something to hang on to the top with and tighten up that screw. Okay, we're getting there now. So I've got 3 little brass plugs. Now they do, whoop, they do go in here fairly easily. Just line them up, get them started. So we'll put 1 in each hole. They don't fall right through. And they don't fall out. Somebody was concerned they might fall out, but no, they're pretty much turned at 5mm, and the root of the 6mm thread is 5mm, and they do go in, but they're not slopping about and they don't fall out. So a long grub screw goes in the middle, just pushing the brass pellet with it as it goes. I'll just put these into flush for now. Okay, One more to do. Let's just bring them until I can see the brass slugs just on the surface. Yeah, about there. That'll do. And the final one. I've actually managed to do this without dropping anything. That's a good start. Mind you, I haven't finished yet. Yeah, I mean, they sit in there, the brass slugs, and, you know, they don't fall out. I was waiting for one to fall out right on cue then, but no, it didn't. So, I'll put my little slider in. I'll just nip those onto the side. I'm not going to tighten them up. Okay. So next, let's make sure I got no dirt on here. Nice new tip. Now this is something I should have practiced before I got to the camera, because I haven't tried this in here before. Well, not with a tip. Ooh. There. Well. Ooh. Now it's starting to look like a ball turner. So the next procedure is to mount it onto the lathe. Okay. Get my screws out of their little home. I should have cleaned that thread out first, but should be okay. If I didn't have a ball-ended Allen key, I won't be able to do that screw up at the back there, but oh, I can always throw the Allen key on the floor and not be able to do any of them. Okay, so remember to do those up at a later date. That can stay finger tight for now. In fact, I have got a 6mm Allen key here somewhere. Let me just take a bit of play out of that. Just a little, that'll do. Right, so I've got to remember those grub screws are loose. So I've got the Allen key beside it. So our next plan is to check out the centre height. Well, I've just wound it across the centre and put it square. And, well, it appears to be on the nose of the tiniest little mark that's on the centre from where I turned it. So far so good, but until we start turning we won't really know. Well, I think that's about it for this episode, guys. Nah, not really. Let's try it out. So I just had a dummy run of setting this up and found that my tool on the back edge here would have been hitting against my collet chuck. So I've just adjusted it and brought it all out. So I'll show you how to set it up. What it means is at the moment, because I've got this big mass of steel on the back of my block, that I've got to, you know, I can't go much closer than that position there. With the centre line, so I brought it out a bit, and yeah, we're fine now. So let's set this up, and I'm from the back of my block is now 30mm out. Right, so let's set this up. So hang on, let's just undo a little bit of the work I did earlier on. Whoop. Now that I didn't mean to do. I'm going to set that up roughly central about. and just nip one of the screws. Just nip it. So what I want to do is, with the tool path at 90 degrees to the bed, I just want to find the center of the part. So if I just square that up and find the center, I might have to get in shot a little bit. Well, that doesn't look too bad at all. So that's the center of the part. So what I'm going to do, just because I like doing it, is I'm going to lock my cross slide off, only temporarily, just so that I know it's not going to move around. Here we are. So what I'll do now is loosen my tool off so that it will slide again, bring it back out the way, turn it to 90 degrees this way, okay, and come across onto the job. Now, I've measured this up as 18.8 diameter, so I've drawn a line back, hence the black marker pen, drawn a line back, half of 18.8, which was 9.4, I've drawn a center line. So I'll just square the tool up at 90 degrees this way, and I'm going to push the tool in until it touches the outside, which is that point there. So I'll come back off the job, just nip up one of those screws again, and I'll just go back and check, keeping it at 90 degrees. Yeah, I think I'm right there, right on the edge. So I can lock the tool. So that's now set for the correct radius. Here we are. So if I come back in fact I can undo my carriage now. The cross slide lock is undone. I can wind the tool out away from the job, square it up 90 degrees, find that line, pick up on the line that I scribed, and now I'll lock the carriage. There, carriage locked. So I'll just wind the tool out on the cross slide, and you can see, and it looks about right, it's touching slightly more on the back edge, but then it's longer, this block, than its diameter, so I'm going to have a plain area at the back. So I keep winding out. My first port of touch is going to be a bit off this back edge, so we'll give that a whirl. So if I'm just putting the dome end on the ball, I've got a slight problem at the back because the ball is wider than its diameter, but not a great problem. But the finish is absolutely astonishing. I'll take some larger cuts. I'll just do this side. I'm just stopping short at square on. I don't want to undercut. I mean, I can even take quite a large cut. Well, you know. And if I tickle across the face, I think with that longer handle I'll get even more. Go on, I'll rip into this now, just show you. I'll give you the angle around the other side in a minute, and you can see the little problem I have. But that was my own fault. Bad preparation. And not having used one of these before. Yeah, I mean, the finish is unbelievable. So the problem I've come across, well, firstly, my ball was longer from the back to the front face, longer than the diameter of 18.8. It was like 19.8, something like that. So I had to just file a little bit off the back edge there. But that's another story. That was my fault for not preparing the correct blank. However, I've just wound the tool back off a bit. As you can see, I can't come round to the full 90 degrees, because what would happen is the back end of the tool will rub, and you can see where I've just touched on there, but nothing to speak of, it'll polish out. But I'm always going to leave that small step where you're not going right down to the center, so you're not removing the last bit. But won't be a problem. I mean, it will, by the time I've wound into the full depth and cut the full radius, I will be down to this diameter, but I'll have a short parallel bit. If I were to make the tool again, what I would do, obviously I haven't got any small diamond shaped tips, but I would set a diamond tip in at an angle like that, so that this edge of the diamond tip was the center line, and that would allow you to come in. As you can see, when I get to there, I could still go, as long as all the material was removed under that face, it would allow you to come right in to the the bottom of the 10mm quite easily. But I mean, I think this is going to work, but it's that final point where you don't want the rest of the tip digging in. So yeah, it's just a case of taking my time. So I'll just show you where I am with it and how it's working. Where am I? Let me just wind in. But yeah, I mean, you can go quite. So yeah, there's the point. Put the cut on there. If I take it really gently, in fact I could speed things up, I'm doing 1,000. It's just that last bit there, which is a bit of a pain, but no, it'll be fine. Come round the front, but it's cutting beautifully, and I'm sort of keeping an eye not to go past about sort of 88 degrees, so I'm not quite, as I come round, not quite going straight. But yeah, I mean, I can put quite a hefty cut on. Let's have a look. That was about a 10th cut there, and it's literally, it's feather light. The action of it is, it's literally, you know, I can push it with just the end of my finger. I mean, it really is. Sort of cutting so freely back to the center. So what I'll do, let's get somewhere near finished. I'll try and get you the finished article in this clip. Shall we try that? Again, I'm just winding in till from the center point, traveling quite fast. I can come a little further. Yeah. We'll call this bit roughing out. I'm nearly there now. I started with this small 19mm ball because I've got 19mm brass, and I do want the handle on the end to be brass, as the unit contains a bit more brass. Just want to keep digging in there. I'm getting close to my finishing point now. I think that's just cleaned up. I may take a little tiny bit more. Again, the longer handle will help with the steadiness of feed, I think. the finish is, well, I think I'm going to call this a day. Excuse me. I'll just wind out. Okay, well, we have a ball. Longer handle, a bit more steady with the hand feed. I could probably get a far nicer finish. I'm working around the camera here trying to get in, but yeah, it seems to work really nice. I think the light is playing tricks. It looks, in the camera, there looks to be a bit of, where are we in this area, looks to be a bit of a dint, but there isn't. So what I'll do, I'm just going to get a file in there and file that uncut piece of brass, or the rough cut piece, with the edge of the tool. And I think we've got something we can work with. I've got a bit of this, where are we, T-cut. It's for polishing car paintwork. So I've got a little bit on some paper, and I've just given it a little polish, but I haven't shown it any wet and dry or anything like that. I think that's one shiny ball. So just for a bit of fun, I brought the bar out a bit, and I've set the tool 3mm inboard from centre line. So if I just pick up that little scratch line I had on there earlier on, which is there, I'm wondering whether I can do a concave radius in there. This sort of idea. I think I can, you know. So this is in steel this time. So I think I've locked my carriage. Speed things up a bit, right? Ooh. I think I'll just put a bit of Sharpie on there so you can see where I am. Won't be doing 750, I reckon, a bit faster. And it's cutting a lovely little concave radius in there. Sweet! I think I'll call that a day. Well, there she is, guys. With the ball installed. Little scallop in there. I think I'm going to change all these lines to scallops. I like the look of those. So we'll have a series of them down there. So I think a few little jobs to do, bit of polishing up. I'm going to remove the back end of this. I can do, I never have to do like spherical holes, so to speak. That would need a completely different shaped holder altogether, you know, undercut right through. But yeah, I mean, I'm over the moon with that. Bit of machining there. I'm going to remove the back, leave maybe a couple of mil and remove the back down, machine it away. I'm going to make a little brass piece for the transition between the handle and the body. I'm not happy with that. It looks ugly. I'll sort that out. And yeah, put a series of scallops down the handle. So that'll probably be in a Shed Talk update going forward, just showing the finished thing. And I may even do a bit more ball turning, you know, maybe a bit of aluminium. I've got no need for an aluminium ball at the moment, but who knows? I think, yeah, the piece of material that you've got, much better if you're starting from a centre line and that its length is the same as its diameter and you've got less material stuck out on the end, but it wasn't a great problem, really. Yeah, good clean up, good polish up. I want to do a bit of lapping on this plate. It's still got signs of its original sort of mild steel or whatever it was. Yeah, what was it? Can't remember what it was. Anyway, it's still got odd signs, sort of mill marks, that sort of thing. So I'll run the stone over that for 10-15 minutes, a big oil stone, and then polish it up. But, well, it certainly works. It'll do up to, I think I worked it out. My original plan was, will it do a 30 millimeter diameter ball? And I think as it stands, you know, the original design, it could have done up to a theoretical maximum without the part rubbing on here of 30.5. But as it turns out, it's about, it'll do about 30.3, something like that. So yeah, I mean 30, it'll do what it's set out to do. So yeah, I think perhaps I'll just put a nice angle down from that sort of intersection point there. Put an angle down that meets up on the back, sort of flush, I think. That'll look nice, you know, and the swarf will fall down away down that slope. I've seen many of them, you know, with the tool on the back face as well, another tool set back to back on there, but I can't see as I'm going to need that for what I'm using it for. I can do, you know, external scallops on a shaft, and I can turn balls with it, so yeah. Well, here we are, guys, and I think my usual words in this situation would be happy days. Yeah, we've got a working ball turning tool. Now, it does need a bit of finishing off, a bit of finesse needs adding to it. There's a few little features I want to improve, but yeah, I'll probably do all those off camera, and I'll do a bit of a show and tell as to where we are in the next episode of Shed Talk. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you all very soon. Cheers now.